Once I started to get successful at locking the doors, uh, talking about before 2020, talking about 2013, once I became 2012, that also had to do with departure to a psychiatric hospital where there is no doors you can lock. And what police investigators, police officers were making point out of it. Once I became successful at locking doors, is this here. This is successful. This is the meaning of the successful locking doors. This is a meaning of successful securing doors. This here. Police investigators began to instigate, together with my parents, nobody more than my mother. It was surprising because she was more obsessed than my father, by far more obsessed. Together with my niece, with her husband, Mitya Weber, they became obsessed with the idea to prove me that stuff I do is damaging for the door handles, is damaging for the keys, determined to stop me from doing this stuff here that you see. They became determined they're gonna stop me. I'm gonna get to this issue, but the first thing I want to clarify with you is always do whatever I demonstrated you right now. Always do whatever I demonstrated you right now. Always. Apartment, house, whatever the fuck you are, at least you must do this from your bedroom, wherever you are. You have a wife, girlfriend, doesn't like this, kick her out. Too bad. Must go. Immediately. Not the next day or whatever, but immediately I would advise you. And meanwhile, move to a separate room, be by yourself and get her out. Suggesting for this feature that something is wrong with it is suggesting like person is suffering from paranoia or something like that. You have no fucking idea how many times not only what became in a real life, but during MK Ultra, they started to instigate on paranoia, this and that. But they realized that they have no fucking clue. They had no, I should say, no point in it. That it was totally pointless, the stuff that I stated to you. They did not have a tremendous, Novo Mesto Police had a tremendous problem with breaching this security rule. This is the deadliest security rule because many times it happened to me. And I am not the best of us. I don't want to get into the best of us because in a way I am disgrace. I am truly a disgrace. In a way I am disgrace when it comes to personal safety. This does not go into the category of the security. It goes into the fucking safety issue. It goes into the safety. This is how prevalent, this is how omnipresent is MK Ultra procedure throughout the world. World is contaminated, infested with a violent government procedure known as MK Ultra. You cannot be a police officer today without eventually engaging in an MK Ultra procedure. Not knowing about it, not being involved in it, but literally having your hands on it. With a police officer, they didn't have a hands on me, they did hands on other people. But you cannot be police officer without what I explained to you, nor can you be a nurse without what I explained to you. I think this is clear enough. It goes into the category of safety, not security. You have no idea once I started to get really, really resourceful with these issues, using tools to secure my doors, my safety, how far this stuff had gone. They managed to get me out of the car, hijack me repeatedly from this Skoda Felicia, with the doors well locked, with the doors well secured. I didn't well secure them. The only thing I did was I locked them, because I was sure that there's no way they could get me with the seats down and stuff like this. There is no way they can get in and this and that. They do get in. And they do have the way to put you to sleep like a baby. They were talking to me about how they squeeze the gas inside of the car, or whatever gas that is, and makes you so sleep, you don't even fucking know in what dimension you are. Look. See this? You have no fucking idea how many times it happened to me. Not many times. Not many times, but one time is enough for you to get killed. During MKUltra, American politicians were assuring me it can be done in one time. Not 2, not 3, not 4, but not much more than 4 or 5 times to get one chronically infested with a certain disease and mix him with an average with the statistics. That's what statistics are used for. This doesn't pertain only to the cancer, lung cancer. It doesn't pertain to the certain cancers only. It's all kinds of diseases that are easily manufactured. Medical science is also a science that, not going to say definitely investigates, that investigates the factors which contribute. So I'm not going to say that they are the one manufacturing diseases, but they do investigate diseases. They do investigate, what causes certain diseases. And the one that has a hands on this stuff is police, I should say politicians, government, regulators. I'm just explaining you how this social disease, in a way, social justice is break down onto people. You have no idea. I was going to finish. I need to finish this. How many times just this here? Not many times, really. I'm really good at locking doors, securing myself. I'm hell of a good. It's not about securing doors only. It's also about looking inside of your drawers, wherever, that you don't have a person inside in there, waiting for you to go sleep. It's what I was prompted during MKUltra by the police to do. It's not that I'm trying to stay clear of portraying myself as a paranoid or something like that. I don't need that. I proved there is no paranoia in my case. I proved existence of MKUltra. And the words I dedicated to drawers, Kasten, I don't know how the hell you say that, Omara, do it on your judgment. It's up to you. I dedicated it, not because of myself. I dedicated it to you. I do think that if you have something like this, before you crash sleep, it's a smart thing to do. To pay attention to your whatever you have inside of the house. If you ever were a secure officer, and most of you are not, it's not a big deal. But you did learn one thing, a job anybody can learn in 1 minute. That's basically to go and inspect areas. Inspections do exist, people. Whether you are a physician or you are whatever profession you are, or you are an architect or you are an engineer, inspections exist. Use them. I was probably the worst case there was, because I was doing a security work, and I did a hell of a good job at the security work, but not at protecting myself. So yeah, I am one of the worst there is out there. That's why I said you are all better than I am. So anyhow, if you do this, the possible intruder already know what it means. It's not gonna break your handle. It never broke any fucking handle. Here and there, I'm doing this since my childhood. Literally. I figure out this myself. I'm otherwise very intelligent person. But, you know, just in a way, I'm also maybe saboteur. I also took my chance when I shouldn't. And I still deem should and have done the right thing. But it was my Western partners that somehow were not really partners. Very bad partners. Did something to protect me, make this case public as much as possible. But beyond that, especially when I consider being thrown into the psychiatric hospital in 2012, I'm so disgusted that it's even impossible to tell. It's impossible to tell how disgusted and angry I am about that. Trust me, you're gonna get into psychiatric hospital without this million times faster than with this. You understand what the fuck I stated to you? I'm talking to you about as an investigator, as a psychologist, as a psychiatrist, as a victim, foremost, of psychiatric police crime against me, which police and psychiatrists, the biggest tool they had, is the one I mentioned you earlier during MK Ultra. That's brainwashing you about why you shouldn't use these tools and this and that. Doing everything to play you down and suggest you paranoia, and now you're going to be thrown into psychiatric hospital. It was really around 2010 I started to use this. And it started to get successfully, but far too little successful. And when they do the ECT on you and stuff, you return back in the life truly like Boris Johnson. I'm talking just about his haircut. Or, I don't know what that actor is again, Richard whatever, from Seinfeld. I'm bad with his names because so many people. Okay? His haircut was also awesome. 1,000 million times faster you're going to end up inside of the psychiatric hospital without that thing than with this thing. Look, it's going to happen to you. I'm not going to say it happens to the best of us. I did become best of us once I started to go after them with everything I had. Before that, in other words, it didn't even make fucking sense to me, really, from my perspective. It also had to do with the reasoning. I always somehow had a tactic. It's called diversant. That you should look no suspicious. And it saved my life. I would have been dead if I wasn't like this. You should look no suspicious before the attack. Making your intruders, your guests, make them feel in the environment they operate in and through which they operate as much as comfortable, yes, comfortable is the proper word, as possible. Nothing makes them more comfortable than your stupidity. When When I headed to to the psychiatric Ljubljana hospital the other day, upon filing a police complaint at the Novo Mesto police station, attempt to file police complaint, they dumped me instead to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, where according to MKUltra scenario, I would even identify psychiatrists and that kind of stuff. Really, it was done in such a way that chances for me to get the fuck out of there, I need to translate the audios of those Slovenian audios were totally slender. But when I returned back, and whoever delivered car back into the garage from the police station parking lot, used this here to secure the door like this, put this here, and put the this like this, like this. So it would be like this, as if I would be doing something like this, as if I had it was according to MKUltra scenario, but as if I would be some kind of simple individual, like if I would be some kind of, excuse me to express myself, some kind of spit from the, I don't know, I'm not going to say even from the street, like if I would be, I don't know, yeah, I met a lot of people, I met all kinds of people, I did, and I'm trying to describe some person that would be like totally reckless, careless and stuff like this. I've seen that too. Most of the people, however, that I have seen were very smart during MKUltra. There are a lot of numerous physicians, police officers and such, attorneys. Obviously, something like this, I would never ever do. But the one that absolutely destroyed absolutely everything to me was doing stuff like this, talking about the police investigators, talking about the politicians involved in this stuff. They destroyed, broke everything, whatever the fuck could be broken. And did something like this to just to undermine, just to basically, how can I say, we had a lot of war because of this stuff. We had a lot of war. I have to tell you a lot of things about what went on, including at one point in time, there was a Casio watch I had in front of the politician Gregor Golobic when I seated inside of the kitchen. The watch which Gregor Golobic and investigators, it's a Casio watch with for those of you that know my case, has a dual time. It's an analog digital Casio, little beautiful silver watch, and they break me the watch, you know. They continue to go and break the watch. And at one point in time, they were giving me the watch after they already broke the watch. I'm not talking about the band, belt or strap, metal strap. I'm talking about the watch. And I have watched them destroy my watch, and they give me the watch, saying like, you see, according to the same recipe as to other items, they destroyed me. It was Gregor Golobic was inside of my kitchen, and I grabbed the fucking watch, and I started in front of him to not hit, but he was showing me buttons, the damage he had made to the buttons. The biggest obsession of psychiatrist Kapsch was destruction of the buttons on the watch. He was obsessed. He was absorbed, together with this criminal who met me at the Novo Mesto police station in 2022, with destroying the buttons on the watch. For that matter, the buttons that I received, the watches from the AliExpress, the electronic watches, had a big, they had all the buttons destroyed. They destroyed the buttons, something I did not review, something I did not talk about enough. And something that when you squeeze, it's not evident immediately. It gets evident once you squeeze few times. So this is one of the specialties of these people. An opportunity when they started to do that stuff to me, demonstrate me, I wanted to demonstrate him how compliant I am. That he doesn't have to fear. And when I demonstrated him that he doesn't have to fear, I demonstrated him that I don't fear him. That I don't fear what he is doing right there in front of me by literally demonstrating me damage he just caused to my watch, to even go to the degree that I grabbed the watch and I started like this against the table, the buttons, so that he could go in front of mother and father and say, oh, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. This happened inside of our kitchen. So this type of stuff is designed for style known as Charles Manson. That's basically when they drive you completely insane. Nuts. It's grotesque stuff. It's done to literally suggest, not suggest, but beg you to behave insanely. To bring this complete lunacy through the violence, like total lunacy violence. And that's exactly what happened that day, right? When I submitted a report to the police, I was taken to a psychiatrist in Ljubljana Polje, where according to MK Ultra scenario, I would not even get out alive that day. It would be my last day. And so they started to, create what is known also as the overload, basically to push you over the brink, your stability, your mental stability. That's what the psychiatrists have. That's how they want it, to drive you completely insane, to drive you through the lunacy. I remember Police Director Juršić, I remember Police Director Ogulin, I remember psychiatrists, cops, and police investigators which demanded from me, insisted from me, that due to number of ambulance vehicles, they would be stalking me throughout the city of the Novo Mesto. And make no mistake, they were. Blowing sirens almost on every dispute I have with the mother inside of the house. Or whenever I would step out of the house, or whenever I would return from the city or something. Playing with the sirens according to MK Ultra scenarios, driving one completely insane. They insisted me that at one point in time, sure enough, claiming me, I would too, if I was in this kind of situation sooner than later, I would make some kind of mistake, and get into incident, etc., etc. They guaranteed me, but you have no fucking idea how many times and what the fuck went on. Though for those warnings mean fucking nothing in the world of somebody who is subjected to this degree of violence. And so I am really sophisticated individual. Man, AliExpress sellers and AliExpress people can explain how sophisticated I am. I can be so fucking sophisticated in my stuff I purchase, the way I study things and so on. The people that the way I do stuff that will follow my internet activities would know that only what is applicable to me is only whatever is like the best of the best while expanding through horizons. It's stuff even I do basically not to expand myself through horizons, but to get past. The stuff I do you can see on my blog. I think that's, I'm not going to say it's art, it's just something nobody ever managed. Listen, why the fuck would I do this? This is a really, really precious thing here. I remember police officers, when they screwed up the window in the back of the house, where it goes to the basement, they would leave the hose on. And consequently, it wasn't on one occasion, it was on many, 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 many occasions with my father and my mother never making mistake. But when they would garden in the garden, they repeatedly left the hose, the garden hose on, and consequently would be entire basement, which is underground, flooded with the water. That fucking sucks, man. Suggesting me that these investigators, police investigators and these psychiatrists, they were actually a lot mentally retarded. That's how they compared the forgetfulness and stuff like this. They talked about the Alzheimer's disease and stuff like this, but they had a lot of mental fuck up. I watched them. And it was serious because it was serious problems with their bosses reprimanding them and so on. They had problems. They had a serious problems. It did happen to me once, but it happened to them all the fucking time. Once is one of too many. But to them, it was happening quite often. Maybe they were under stress. Maybe they had a lot of issues going on. After all, they are police officers and they're not crazy. They became extremely, extremely knowledgeable with almost knowledge when it comes to healthcare, medical issues, equivalent to the physicians, because of so much crime, medical crime, they became involved. I was not the only person that were doing damage, I bet. I had something different. I don't know what this is from, but this should serve something. I see that my father had this in storage so that he could use maybe for the axe, or I don't know what he was using this, but this is just a pole like this. I had a different one. That was nothing like this. I would not use this because this shit is actually expensive. And why the fuck would I use this when there were, whatever it was up to then, I don't know where it is. It's gone though. On October the 30th of 2024, they took this away and substituted it with what you have seen right there. Completely insane stuff. But the way I used to secure these doors till that day was simply like this. You can't beat this system because there is no fucking way you're gonna squeeze down your handle. For one thing, with doors locked, this is what door properly is secured like. And that's what they insisted. You're gonna destroy the handles. And if you remember, one time I video recorded how my mother have placed inside of the lock a key that was bent, like completely bent key. This is the key they had during MK Ultra they were using. And during MK Ultra, they were antagonizing with it, threatening. You're gonna see this key inside, you're gonna be doing this stuff. You're gonna see this key inside, and you already know what that is. And I had a whole set of police investigators from almost the police station instigating on how they're gonna come, including individual who met me at the police station from Ljubljana, from Celje, this individual who came and sent me to psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, the one who called the ambulance vehicle, who walked inside of this house for 25 years, for 30 years he was coming here inside of this house, insisting me on how it will be if when he will come to inspect the house, that they will come to inspect the house, blended these issues into cleanliness issues, demanding from me to keep the car perfectly clean, everything clean. You know, they were doing their best to create eccentric personality. Because the eccentric personalities are the easiest to fuck under this kind of circumstances. This is like you would say on extremely, extremely sketchy road, skiddy road, icy road, oily road, to somebody to drive, you know, firmly the wheel, to grab the wheel firmly, you know, and steer. Basically tell him to behave the same way like he is driving through the rough terrain or driving like on a rally or something like that. You know, you have to be extremely cautious on a road that is oily, greasy, on a road that is icy. You have to adjust the velocity, the speed, to conditions which should be as low as possible. You're always being ready to do something, whatever it takes, to safely, slowly stop land vehicle. You know, so this is basically, you get an idea about how they do this stuff. When I returned back from Ljubljana that evening, the shit here was even so much fucking crazier. Literally, according to MK Ultra scenario, and I video recorded it. I had this here placed. This is my foot, and I'm 46 right there. You see, big number. This is about probably 2 kilos or more, maybe even 3 kilos. Maybe it's 5 kilos. Who the fuck knows? But it's heavy. And this shit was thrown here, and it was this ore, beautiful ore that you see here. Father did not. This was. I don't know. It's not here. We would use all kinds of ores when we would go fishing, is what I'm trying to say. Some of which were nothing like this. This is really fancy, really. Whoever did this took time to polish it even and stuff like that, you know. And it was this with ore that was like this on the top of it. And I don't know, I video recorded it. But the setting, whatever was used, was so fucking crazy that, like, I would do the stuff like this, right? It was so fucking crazy that I just video recorded it as soon as I came home. I evidence stuff like this. I don't put one on the internet. When this stuff is gonna end, there's a whole lot of stuff I'm gonna report about. As a matter of fact, this shit I'm gonna even take away from here. But if this isn't idiotic, I don't know what it is. It's a desperate attempt through the psychiatric terror, police terror, that the police, Novo Mesto police, took initiative that day. I don't know, together with the mother or whoever the fuck was here, whoever brought the car here. I don't know who drove the car here. Mother doesn't want to say anything. I think she stated even a mechanic, Mitya or whatever. I don't know. And finally, it doesn't matter. It's a very, very desperate way to play one down, basically suggesting, hey, you're paranoid and so on, you know. We basically, because this is what was under MK, we basically demand you to stop doing this. If you will be still doing this. And it was about a reminder, you know. But you're not supposed to do it. The guy who came from Ljubljana demanded from me to take everything from my backpack first and lay on a table, which I did with a total disdain for his hypocrisy. I did absolutely everything I possibly could to satisfy him so that he could not possibly have any objection, complain against me. And that's how I also won that day, with a big smile on my face even when I exited police building. They were destroyed. They were annihilated. Do it for the safety. Don't do it for security. Do it for the safety.